On August 2nd, the sessions opened with Mr. Edward Hightower, Managing Director of Motoring Ventures, share with attendees the strategy of how Africa can develop a strong automotive industry just like China.
If we continue on the current trend, manufacturing is scheduled to double. Output for manufacturing is scheduled to double on the continent from $500 billion to $930 billion. We heard yesterday a lot about the market opportunity due to population growth, the demographic dividend, and the young workforce. Growing economies, growing middle class, people want what? More things, okay? So this is another opportunity for manufacturing. If you look at the global automobile industry, automobiles on a global basis, there are about 180 vehicles per 1,000 people in the world on average. When you look at the United States, very developed automotive market, very developed economy. We're at about 800 vehicles per 1,000 people. Because many people have 2 and 3 vehicles in their household and in their garage. But if you look at the African continent, that number is only 44. 44 vehicles per 1,000 people. So if the African continent were to just quadruple the number of vehicles, you could quadruple and only be at the global average. Tremendous opportunity, tremendous market opportunity that can be even strengthened through local manufacturing.
Panels of experts in healthcare, tax, and regulatory policy, risk management, and global trade presented emerging trends in Africa, highlighting the current state of healthcare industry, the importance of taxation and regulatory policies, as well as risk management for investments in the region.
So the interesting thing is that governments realize, first of all, they don't have enough resources, and donor funding it's been realized that donor funding is unpredictable and is dwindling. So the interesting thing is that private sector involvement. Government now realizes that private sector is important to leverage the capacity, the capability, and the capital of the private sector to move healthcare forward. Talking about challenges of healthcare in Africa, so Africa is home to 25% of the disease burden of the world. Unfortunately, 3% of in terms of healthcare professionals stay or work in Africa. So you have 25% disease burden and you have 3% healthcare resources. And in terms of finance, only 1% of healthcare spending occurs in Africa.
They want to stay in the United States in the comfort of their homes and put their money to work for them. So they want to invest in stocks and exchanges, and they don't care if the returns is not as high as boots on ground. But that's their level of risk. We can't blame them. We should have regulations that cover such things.
Wow.
Yes, we don't have. Okay, the last one, e-commerce. Simple. Everybody knows e-commerce. You place an order in Amazon and it comes to your house. As simple as that is. We do it. People in Nigeria will do it. Or do you know? We don't even know how we're going to tax. Okay, who do we tax? Is it the Amazon guy in Seattle, or is it the Nigerian customer that made the demand? We don't. So those are opportunities for...
Right? How do we tap into that knowledge base? So that's an open question for me that I'm just thinking about, to say, how does our leaders leverage all the talent in this room to move the continent forward? So thank you.
Let me add something to it, because it is a truth, and we need to speak truth to power. And I know with streaming this. The problem we have in Africa is the current leadership. First of all, you have to excuse me, I'm going to be blunt. The average age for the African leader is 62 years, and the average age for the entire population is 25 years. It's a big risk. I don't want to get into that yet. But our mentality has to change. The Chile did it, we should be able to do it. The typical African politician thinks in terms of politics, power, before they think about people. Look, if we had economic growth, if we have a robust middle class, and people are making money, and all the youth from the university, they are vibrant, nobody's going to be rioting, nobody's going to be looking to even challenge your power. Look, economics is more important than politics. But the issue that we, the diaspora, we have is once you come back to Africa, they want to label you. First of all, each political party want to pull you to their side. But my advice to anybody looking to go back, which is the same advice I give to all my business partners, remain politically neutral. Political neutrality. If you want to be effective and efficient, you need to be politically neutral. Don't go into bed with any political party. The only party you have is the Nigerian party. The only party you have is the Ghanaian party. The only party you have for now is the African party.
The leadership of the Cross-Border Road Transport Agency from South Africa presented the Linking Africa plan.
South Africa has got the second most effective financial markets in the world. The best banking system after Switzerland. And our neighboring countries in the SADC have piggybacked on that. And we have a lot of stock exchanges there that does things. We heard about the motoring industry. BMWs are produced in South Africa. Mercedes-Benz is produced in South Africa. And a lot of other places all over the continent. I want your investment taste buds to start to feel Africa for what it is. And that's what I'm going to take you through today. And I'm going to end up with what we call the Linking Africa plan. Because we firmly believe that for us to be able to do what this market's potential is, there's a lot of things that we need to do. Like in every place, there's going to be risks. I just don't believe that the risks are greater in Africa than anywhere else. I don't think so. If you thought about 20 years ago, if people talked about China, people will tell you about child labor, they'll tell you about all those things. Today, China plus all the other East Asian nations are doing very, very well. And they're actually the manufacturing capital of the world. Africa is next.